Good morning. Hello, EAC members. I was just updating you a little bit. Our election administrator update for the summer of 2024. I wanted to talk a little bit about our last election, the primary election, which just happened here in June. I want to talk about our summer, what we're doing right now, and a little bit about plans and preparation for the next cycle. We had our first polling place election for 2 years with consolidated polling places, and we collectively served over 2,380 voters. So 2,386 voters served at the polling places between regular ballots and provisional ballots. We have 20 polling locations throughout Missoula County. And with our consolidated polling locations, due to our recent redistricting, we use 288 staff in polling places on election day. Now, we did have observers throughout the entirety of the election from the Carter Center, a nonprofit, nonpartisan observation group, and they came and reviewed our process. And so they were in polling places in the counting center, early prep, pretty much everywhere throughout the process. In the polling places, they said things were set up really well. There were no impacts to voters, but we could do a little bit to help improve some knowledge about where voters go to vote and how they can register on election day. So we'll be working hard to update that. In our counting center here, we started processing ballots on the Thursday before the election, opening, sorting, flattening them to prepare, and we worked so well. We had streamlined our process incredibly well. We counted 35,217 ballots with less than a 0.1% error rate. So what happened was there was a group of ballots that got run through twice. We presented that information to the Canvass board, and as it didn't have an impact on the election, they certified that election and sent to the Secretary of State's office. Now, this was a big election. This was 4 party primary ballots. So we worked really hard in proofing all of those party ballots, getting those prepared and ready to go out. And it was over 250,000 ballots. So our team did a lot of hard work and served hundreds of voters here on the election center on election day. Now, our ballot return rate was just over 50% with a voter turnout of 39.7%. So that really tracks to previous elections. Carter Center had reviewed and said we did a pretty great job overall. I'm really proud of our team. In general, we're always learning, we're reviewing, and we've got a little bit that we can improve. We want to update a little bit on supplies and setting out to polling places, signage, a little more information on how you register and where you register. And then we're going to streamline our processes for the counting center. Because the one thing that did catch us was every county uses the Secretary of State's voter database, and each envelope that comes in has a barcode on there that you scan into the database. Due to delays with the database, that process that should take a portion of a second to bring up that voter image was taking upwards of 4 minutes. And so, to process 25 ballots, what should be done in about 5 minutes was taking 45 minutes. So it slowed our teams down drastically. And we've got a public commitment from the state to improve the speed of that database. We're seeing something similar I'll touch on when I talk about what we're doing this summer, but things are going a little bit better, and we're going to work to staff in shifts. Unfortunately, I didn't think we needed shifts for this election because we had things dialed in so well. But then that slowdown, items outside of our control, impacted us, and we ran till 7 in the morning. So what we need to do is really recruit in those shifts. There was a new law passed that said you have to count continuously. So in 2022, we would have paused that process, said, guys, we are at the point where we are not receiving work in a rate fast enough to pay everybody to be here. We're getting tired. There's more opportunity for mistakes, and we'll pause the process. We didn't have that opportunity for this last election with the new law change, but we were scheduled to finish at 2:30 or 3. With the slowdown to the database, that added 4 additional hours to our processing time. So we're going to look at shifts again. We'll be pulling that up and working on our calibration to add in a midnight till 7 a.m. shift in the counting center so that we can finish as strong as we possibly can. As far as the speed of the database, the project we've really been working on are petitions. There were 3 main statewide petitions being circulated, 126, 127, and 128. And we received almost 5,000 submittals from those petitions. Now, a submittal is basically a package of filled out signature forms. A submittal is done by one signature gatherer, and it can contain up to 25 pages. Each page has up to 10 lines. Now, the number of pages in each submittal varies. So as we're processing through this, we'll know the total number of signatures as we complete, but 5,000 that were delivered in the last 4 days ahead of the deadline. So what we're running into is that we're processing through those, and we ran into the same drastic slowdowns in the database. For the first week and a half, we were asking for updates, instructions, we were timing, and we were running into 4 minutes to add one of those submittals to be processed. Then when we were processing them, there were 30, 40-second delays as we were changing each page, loading the submittal, and our ability to process them was severely hampered by the speed of the Secretary of State's database. We talked to them, held a short notice meeting where we pulled in all of the large counties, discussed our concerns, and the state did some drastic improvements to the petition processing, and we went through processing 130 to 300 petition submittals in a day. So they did a great job of bringing that up to speed. We had really staffed hard for it, but we were at the mercy of the speed of the database. And so that is what we're up to right now. This last week, this week, and our deadline being July 18th, we'll be processing petition submittal packets and sending those over to the Secretary of State to see if those qualify to be on the ballot in November. After that, we've got a few different upcoming events. In September, we're going to have a National Voter Registration Day. We want to use this as an educational outreach opportunity. We want to hold a National Registration Day events to help people know about how elections function and how they work. We've held these in the past, but we really want to hit it hard this year because one of the big things that we're looking at with the EAC is increasing voter turnout. And being registered to vote is one of the best ways we can increase that voter turnout. So we're going to be holding events where we do educational outreach here, potentially at the university, and that'll be in September. Then also in October, we'll be holding satellite office events. We have Grey Wolf Peak in Evero. We'll have one in Frenchtown and one in Seeley Lake, as well as one at the University of Montana. There's a potential that we also add another satellite office. What these are is that during late registration, the 30 days before the election, you have to come in person to update your voter registration. We receive hundreds of forms in the mail that say, I'd like to update my registration during that period, and we let them know you have to come in person. When we hold these satellite office events, we're able to go to that community and say, we'll be here this Thursday. Come by from this time to this time, and we'll get you updated. We'll get you a ballot. So when we send a letter back to that voter that says, thank you, Bradley, we received your voter registration card. Unfortunately, you must appear in person. Our hours are this time to this time, or we'll be in these locations at this time. Please let us know what's easiest for you. Then coming up for Election Day, we're planning on having another big election day for November. We're going to be really working hard. We added a second ballot drop-off location at McCormick Park. We'll be advertising that much more heavily. We'll be staffing that, and we're expecting a very large election in November. Trying to keep things really short for you guys. Looking forward to seeing you all here shortly. Please don't hesitate to reach out if you have questions, but we've got a great summer from the Missoula County Elections Office. Thank you and have a really great day.